have so many people talk to me about that voice inside your head that raises doubt, that goes straight to the negative and really holds you back from reaching your potential and reaching your goals. So what I want to do in this video is to share with you an approach that can help you to manage that inner critic when it comes along. And it refers to understanding your inner coach. So the first thing to ask is, who is the inner coach? And the inner coach is that commentary, the voice inside your head. So just to be clear, we all have a voice inside our head, in case you've ever wondered about that. And it's there, it's incredibly functional. From the moment we wake up to the moment that our head drops onto the pillow at the end of the day, the inner voice that we have is that constant commentary on the world, helping us to decide what to do, what not to do, helping us label our feelings and making all sorts of decisions through the course of our day. So one of the things that I found really helpful, if you want to have that voice working for you and with you rather than against you, is to think of it like your own inner coach. It's literally the voice inside your head that is there to support and help and mentor you, guide you, encourage you, challenge you along the way to get you closer to your goal. So I wanted to share with you a piece of research that was conducted many years ago, where essentially what the researchers did was looked at a swim squad that were trying to qualify for the Olympics. And what they did with that swim squad is that they had them all complete a psychometric test that measured their inner coach, the voice inside their head, and it evaluated those voices according to whether they were more positively framed or more negatively framed. They used terms that you might be familiar with, which is optimism and pessimism. So they knew the swimmers and they knew whether or not they were relatively more optimistic, as in they tended to seek the good and be hopeful, or whether they tended to be more negative and be more pessimistic in their thinking. And what they wanted to do is to see if that inner coach made a difference for them in terms of their performance. So very close to the Olympic trials, what they had the athletes do was to go and swim their favourite event, whatever that might be, a 50 free, 100 back, whatever it might be. And instead of giving them their actual result, they lied to the athletes and they gave them a time that would be disappointing for them. Now, if you're close to an Olympic trial and you swim your event, whatever it is, and you get a disappointing time, understandably, that is something that is going to get your attention. Your inner coach is going to start giving you feedback about that. Your inner coach is going to, make evaluations about it. And maybe your inner coach is going to guide you towards what you do next. So what they had to do next was they then had to have a rest, and then they had to come out and swim again. And what they found with that research is overwhelmingly those athletes who had an inner coach that was generally more optimistic and positive, those were the swimmers that came out and swam faster. And those swimmers who had a more negative, pessimistic kind of inner coach were more likely to come out and swim slower. So in one very clear example where all of the swimmers had faced the same adversity, a disappointing time right near the Olympic trials, it was their inner voice that really determined their performance. So we know that your inner coach, the voice that you have inside your head, is going to be really critical for you in terms of getting you closer to the performances you want and further from those things that you don't want to have happen. What's really important is when you're learning is to understand that every expert was once a beginner. This is really important for your inner coach, the voice inside your head. So if you were trying something new, if you were trying to refine a technique or something that you're doing, so maybe there's a project at work and you are starting from scratch, you've never worked in that area before. I'm doing it myself at the moment. I've decided that it's a good idea for me to start doing TikTok videos. We'll see if I continue to think that that's a good idea. And at the moment, I'm terrible at it. Why? Because I've never done it before. I've been floundering all afternoon in trying to work out how to get these videos actually working. So I'm a beginner. Now, maybe with some perseverance and some, failed attempts and how I view those failed attempts will be largely determined by my inner coach. Now, if my inner coach says, hey, Joe, every expert was once a beginner. You're not supposed to be good at this the first time. You're exactly where you're supposed to be because you are just starting this out. Stick with it, persevere from it, and take every disappointment as a lesson and an opportunity to learn. So when we have that mindset of I am on the path to improvement, when our inner coach gives us messages that are consistent with that, it's really helpful for us. Another thing that we can do is we can find a mantra. Maybe there's a phrase that we can use. Maybe it's the one I just gave you, every expert was once a beginner. Or maybe there's some other mantra that you can give yourself that encourages you to keep going. What I do, my mantra, when I'm in a place where I'm uncomfortable, and whether that be through my physical training or whether it be because I am stretching myself professionally doing something and I'm not quite feeling the feels, is I'll use my mantra, which is, it's kind of the point. If I'm in a place of growth, whatever that might be, and I'm currently feeling uncomfortable, it's kind of the point. So that's what it's supposed to be. And so I use my inner coach to help guide me and help get me closer to my goal rather than to work against me and to tell me that I'm no good, to tell me that I'm never going to achieve it and to feel worried or concerned or whatever that might be. So I'm going to finish up with one of my favorite quotes, which is that words matter. And the words that matter most are the ones you say to yourself. So each of us has an inner coach. And I wonder if you want to spend some time working on your inner coach to get you closer to the successes that you're seeking. One way to do that is to perhaps have a look at my latest book, Belief. And in the very first chapter, I talk about the inner coach. And all the way through the book, when we explore the ideas of belief, I challenge you to think about it through the lens of your inner coach and give you some strategies that your inner coach can help you to move you closer to the goals that you set for yourself. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. There's other videos that you can see in my YouTube channel, and otherwise you can find them in my Facebook group. I would love to see you in one of those. Would love to get feedback from you as to how you're finding these videos. And certainly if you know someone who you think could benefit from watching this video, please feel free to pass it on to them.